everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Game Honey. I don't know, the episodes just keep on coming. I don't know how we do it, but here we are. It's yet another week, so it's time for some fresh new game news and some fresh new talk about video games in general. And with me here today to do that are my two lovely, lovely co-hosts, starting in no particular order with Mr. Grizzly.
Good afternoon for you, I guess.
Yes, afternoon for me.
Yes.
Good morning for you.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
On the onset of a cold, I guess. So, kinda have the sniffles. But yeah, next to that, pretty good. Thank you.
Well, we will send positive thoughts your way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where can people find you, Grizzly?
At Grizzly_BE. When I'm not too busy with other stuff, yes, I do tweet sometimes. Just not this week.
There you go. And we also have Mr. Polar. How have you been?
I have been considerably better than Mr. Grizzly over there. Thank you for asking. You can find me at Twitter, on Twitter, at GumaGumaPolar. Send us a tweet. By the way, before we forget, Fernando sent us a couple of tweets last week, so let's talk about that a little bit as well before we forget again.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
that will be our quickest
make a note of that
ever.
in a bit. But let's dive right into the news. There's not that many. It was a bit of a quiet week, I guess, but there are some interesting stories that have come out this week. So let's start right off with the Super Mario world record. The world record for speedrunning has been broken by a single frame.
Oh,
which is quite something.
That is awesome.
And this is not what is it, task assisted, right? This is pure speed running. So no cheats, no not through an emulator or something.
No, I do think they used like the warp zones and stuff, but other than that, I think it's just the regular old game. Let's see. The previous record was 4 minutes, 57 seconds and 0.244 seconds. And the new time is 4 minutes, 57.227. So difference of 0.017 seconds.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's awesome, but ridiculous.
Broken by someone called Cosmic. So, congratulations to Cosmic.
Congrats.
I think it's it's pretty cool. So, have you guys ever tried speedrunning at all, or?
I tried to beat the world record for Super Mario Kart Circuit 1.
Oh yeah, I remember.
How'd that go?
I was, I think, in the top 100, which is actually quite decent when you think about it.
That is pretty decent.
Really?
I remember that, not Super Circuit, but I thought you were also working on Super Mario Kart on the SNES. You tried to beat one track, or you tried to...
That's that one, yeah. The very first circuit.
Oh, that's Mario Circuit, right?
Yeah,
Super Circuit is the Game Boy Advance game.
Ah, sorry, my bad. The Mario Circuit 1, which is an awesome track.
It is.
But that's actually quite difficult, because they take the corners a little bit different when you're in the top 10. And they jump over the banks, let's say.
Uh-huh.
And it's really ridiculous when you see those guys driving. So between the number 1 spot and the number 10 spot, or number 100 spot, it's like only 5 seconds. So yeah, that's also quite ridiculous when you see it. I didn't get there in the end, but I did try though. My crowning achievement is getting in the top 100.
That's pretty good still. I assume you're not in the top 100 anymore.
Probably not.
Okay.
I haven't checked that in like 5 years. So.
If you have a challenge for Grizzly, you can call him out on Twitter.
And just use hashtag Grizzly Challenge.
That sounds like it could
mean a whole lot of different things.
Cause some problems. Yeah. Why don't you challenge Grizzly to a speed run?
Challenge a grizzly bear in the forest and don't get mauled to death.
Yeah, please don't sue us for. We do not condone bear violence.
Most definitely
or,
not.
In any form.
Man on bear violence.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is.
It's not world-shattering news, but I thought it was pretty neat. So there.
Nice
there you
shout
have
out.
it.
Did you ever try any speed runs?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I actually I'm more of a slow gamer of anything because I want to explore everything. So instead of like going straight somewhere straight away, I just always take my time looking around.
Could you say that the virtual you is kind of like the real life you, slow and steady?
Am I?
I wasn't gonna go there.
Am I slow and steady? I guess I've just
I'd say
found
that's
out.
an accurate description of your personality.
All right. According to my friends, I am slow and steady. You learn something new every day. I guess the steady part is good.
Good old slow and steady.
Old faithful.
When we get together and we see you walking towards us in the distance, we go, there he comes. Good old slow and steady.
You can take one more beer.
You can always count on that old horse.
Yeah, don't write me off yet. Might
Never
take a
will,
while, but
never
I'll
will.
get it done. In any case, continuing on from Super Mario, we have some Super Mario related news. You guys might remember the mini NES that was announced a while back.
Yes.
Yes.
Right? Well, now some new details have come out, and personally, it's not something that I'm usually very into, like the technical stuff, but I know you guys are.
Technical.
So there's new news that the mini NES will be playable in 3 display modes: CTR filter,
CRT.
4x3, and pixel perfect. Are you guys happy with those options?
Well, it's about what looks best on your display, right?
I
And
guess
what
in
looks
this
best
case,
to your eyes.
in this case, isn't it also just to get the more nostalgia effect with the CRT filter?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Well, yeah, it's just how to get the game running as you would like. I don't think it's the perfect solution, but
What
why not?
would be the perfect solution?
Actually, there was also someone who compared the mini NES to a game on the mini NES to the same game on the eShop, and apparently the mini NES looks a lot better, and
the colors are more
apparently
vibrant,
sounds
right?
a lot better too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good. I think it's for $50. I think it's a pretty good deal.
$60.
50 or 60, sure.
It's
I mean,
you
that's
guys,
two games a pop, right? Or one game for $2 or euros or whatever.
yeah, if you look at it like that, I guess it's not that bad a deal.
It's not that bad a deal at all. I think it's a pretty sweet collector's item.
And that's exactly what it is. It's a collector's item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was a bit more on the fence about it because for me, well, I don't have an NES. I never had an NES, but for example, if they were to make like a Sega Mega Drive Mini,
Yeah.
I have a lot of old Sega games laying around, and my old Mega Drive isn't doing too well anymore.
Yeah.
So I would be like, oh yeah, I would love it if I could also play my old games on it.
If only
Well, you
Sega
need the cartridges?
made a console.
Yeah, the cartridges.
Just buy an NES.
What's the Sega Mega Drive?
Yeah.
Why don't you
Just
buy the
buy a
Retron
Sega
5?
Mega Drive.
Does the Retron 5 do Sega games?
There's a ton of those kinds of old systems that, or new systems that do like all the old cartridges.
Retron
But-
5 Sega?
They always seem a bit shady.
Does the Retron 5 actually take old cartridges?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Because
the
Retron
Retron
5
5
is pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. It takes into account that
Do you have it?
I don't have it. I want it, but I don't have it yet.
Well, I think we talked about it before, but here in Japan, there's a lot of stores that have one, and it seems to be a different brand every time. So it's definitely a thing that, that you can buy, but I would love to have like an official one.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just me.
Well, I could see Sega doing something like this.
Did you have the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, right?
I had a Mega Drive, yeah.
The Retron 5 does the Mega Drive games as well.
Okay. Well, maybe I should look into that one.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the mini NES looks pretty cool. I mean, it's a cool item that you could potentially bring over to a couple of friends and just enjoy like 10 minutes of this game, 10 minutes of that game, because that's my usual NES experience. Like you bring it out and you think, this is great! When you play Duck Hunt for a couple of rounds, and then you just turn it off and never look at it again for what, 5 years?
So just to fill you in on some other stuff, there's some other details. It's 30 games, $60.
Yeah.
It'll allow for 4 save states per game.
Per game.
That's okay.
And it'll give you the original NES manuals through a QR code.
That is cool. Through a QR code?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a QR code will be on the screen,
so
and
you
can scan it.
You can look at them on your phone.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that the manuals digital. Will be looked at more than the games are sold.
But there's also some other news. It seems that all the wires are really short.
Mm-hmm.
And to switch games or saves, you have to reset the system since there's no like home button or anything.
About the wiring, I would take that this is the Western release, right? Because if I seem to remember correctly, like the wires on the Super Nintendo in Japan are ridiculously long. I'm not sure if that's the same with the NES.
No, they're short.
Or was it the other way around?
In Japan, they're really short.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. Oh, how time flies. How memories fade.
Well, actually, now that you mentioned Japan, we in the West are getting a mini NES, but in Japan the mini Famicom has been announced, which is essentially the same thing, but just has the Japanese design of the Famicom, and some of the games have been switched out. There is Atlantis no Nazo, a Downtown game, and a sumo game that have been switched out for Punch-Out, Kid Icarus, and Castlevania 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're getting a rough deal, it seems.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting the short end of the stick. But still, it's nice that they do a Japan version as well.
Yeah, it's awesome with the controllers on the side and everything.
Yeah, which so if you can choose any retro console, which one would you?
Oh, that's a pretty good question. I think I'd go for the N64 actually.
I had a feeling you would say that.
Because I think you can emulate the NES and the SNES, and as I mentioned before, I was a Nintendo kid growing up. So my preference would go to a Nintendo console. I feel like the GameCube is too recent. The NES and the SNES you can play on pretty much everything. We don't condone piracy on this podcast, but you could play them on your phone if you wanted to with terrible, terrible controls. But the N64, I think, is not... You can't really emulate it all that well unless it's on one of Nintendo's own consoles. But I think
we wouldn't know.
Nice one.
But I didn't really get it. But I'm just gonna keep on talking. I would really, more than anything, I would like a portable device for the N64. But I'll settle for this for a mini N64.
64.
Yeah, with added frames per second.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be nice. You, what about you, Grizzly?
For me, it would definitely be the Super Nintendo. Back when I was still a kid, most of my gaming was done on the Super Nintendo. I missed out on the N64 phase anyway, so because then by then it was already on the PC. So yeah, no, definitely Super Nintendo. I can play all my old games that I still have lying around here, and just good memories all around.
Well, you probably couldn't though, because
Jesus. Still will be the Super Nintendo guy.
All right, brah.
What up, bro?
I think, a bit unoriginal, but I'm also going to go for the N64.
Yeah?
I think that would be great because it's like what you mentioned before. It's easy to maybe bring to someone and to someone's house and like have like a party setting. And I think the N64 by and far is a great system for that. Just because of the 4 players, and although I wonder if they would have to sell like separate controllers. I think the mini NES comes with both controllers attached.
Yeah.
Although I'm not 100% sure about that, but
I thought it was. I'm gonna check this out.
But yeah, in any case, I think N64 a mini N64 would be pretty great.
I think it would also potentially, if Nintendo went the extra mile, that it would benefit the most from a re-release like this, because what I mentioned in that, it was the first real 3D console, besides the PlayStation, of course.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
because
Nintendo's,
of that, so often the frame rate was just god awful. Which, yeah, I think it was definitely also emblematic of the first PlayStation, second the PS2 and the GameCube generation, but much more so, I'd say, on the N64, where you had the likes of Perfect Dark and Donkey Kong 64 and even Zelda, I think, like all strolling at around sub 20 frames per second.
Best frames per second.
Yes.
So get on that, Nintendo, because
I'm sure they will
give you our money. Yeah, probably. If this is a success, I'm sure that they'll.
But I don't mind. I don't mind.
Mini NX before too long.
Yeah. Yes.
That'd be nice.
Try and make a segue from that.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. I'm just gonna go straight segue-less into the next piece, which is I'm sure that in particular Polar is going to enjoy talking about this, but No Man's Sky, your favorite game, right? Mm-hmm. So No Man's Sky has been sued, or is going to be sued for false advertising. There have been complaints launched. There have been complaints filed against No Man's Sky advertising, and an investigation has been launched, I should say.
My God.
It's the UK-based Advertising Standards Authority, or ASA, and they are doing the investigation after having received complaints.
I do wonder why this happens now. Oh, probably because it's the internet age.
Yep.
So actually, I don't wonder.
You mean that it's late, or
no? I mean, for example, what we were talking about last week with Peter Molyneux. I mean, it's not like this is unprecedented. What happened with No Man's Sky? I mean, games have radically under-delivered in the past as well. But I guess that people are now taking action because of the internet hive mind, and that is not to say that I think this is a bad thing per se.
No, it's definitely easier to do these kind of things now, and I do get the feeling that lately it's becoming more and more that people sue them because of false advertising. Just think about Killzone 4, actually. Mm-hmm. Which was pretty recent. On the one hand, I think it's good that the gaming community then tries to keep the publishers and the developers in check. On the other hand, sometimes feels like a dick move, right? Though, of course, this under-delivered like no game has ever done before, but still. Here, we make a game, you get sued.
Well, yeah.
So somewhere it just feels kind of wrong, but I do understand it. But whatever. We'll see what comes from it.
What is being claimed? I mean, what do they want Hello Games to do about this?
They said that screens and video suggest a different type of combat, unique buildings, ship flying behavior, creature sizes. Those are different than the actual game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've been over that, but
I don't think they have actually been sued yet. There's an investigation going on.
Well, I think that in and of itself is a good thing. Because, and you know, Sean Murray seems like a nice guy, but just the way this whole thing was handled, it's pretty shameful, and they should have been more clear about what this game would be, which is not all that difficult to explain.
I think the other day, was that the reason why we talked about it the other day, that PlayStation had come out and said that it wasn't handled properly?
I think it was Shuhei Yoshida who said, well, sucks to be you.
Which is a little bit of a dick move, because...
Have our marketing machine,
sure.
You're doing it wrong.
Sure, I mean, Sean Murray
he said it wasn't a great PR strategy, is what Shuhei Yoshida said.
Yeah, but, I mean, Sony was definitely one of the driving forces behind it.
Well, right? No, well, they gave him a platform, but they didn't tell him what they should say, right? Yeah, I'm sure they had a whole lot of ideas for this game that just didn't come to fruition. But, yeah.
Yeah. Just have to wait for No Man's Sky 2, huh?
Never gonna happen, never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
It still sold pretty well, didn't it?
Yeah, but with this backlash, that's not gonna happen.
Well, yeah,
maybe in 20 years.
I do sort of wonder if it's mostly a vocal minority thing that's now getting outraged about No Man's Sky. I wonder if the general public ended up enjoying No Man's Sky at all. I mean,
everybody I talked to didn't really like it.
Yeah, but those are gamers, right? And well, on the other hand, I would think that the reason that this sold well is because I mean, only gamers would know about this game, right? It's not really a casual FIFA-like experience. That
yeah, but it sold like 8 million. So to say only gamers know about it is a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I find strange. I mean, how did the general population find out about it?
Like,
they did go on talk shows as well, right?
Yeah, I think they did it, marketing-wise. They did a pretty decent job.
Yeah, they were even on Colbert's Today Show.
So they did a better marketing job than actually a developing job. Sorry.
Wah, wah, wah.
I mean, I think the general public definitely knows about this game, and I guess that there are a lot of people who just bought this game based on what they heard up until the release. And I do think that there are some people that generally just enjoy the game, not a game of the year contender or anything, but just enjoy going to places and harvesting the shit out of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that is one, a minority, and two, if No Man's Sky 2 that comes out, I don't think it will get the numbers it did this time. Plus, also the brand has been tainted.
I do sort of hope that they get a second chance, because it has a lot of promise, obviously, and there is a lot of stuff in there that seems worthwhile. But what I mostly hope comes out of this particular inspection is that it's not just the indie developers that get put under surveillance, because obviously large publishers are also guilty of this. Do you remember, for example, Alien Colonial Marines?
Which who doesn't? Who doesn't?
That would have been a prime target for something like this, and I
think there were lawsuits about that actually.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. No, but even stuff like the big publishers always do it with bull shots, where you have stuff that is obviously not in-game, presented as in-game footage or in-game screenshots. I mean, why is that allowed to happen?
Maybe there's some loopholes that say, like, yeah, we made it with the in-game engine or whatever.
No, but it would be good. It would be good if It's not just because Hello Games is a relatively easy target, right? When compared to EA or Ubisoft or whoever.
But
so
even those get called out.
Well, they get called out on the internet.
Yeah, but like you said, Colonial Marines got a lawsuit. I remember Killzone 2 also had problems. Killzone 4 is quite a big hitter. Also, got a lawsuit on his hands.
I mean, did they get into legal trouble?
Killzone 4 did.
It did?
Yeah, Colonial Marines also did. So this is just the newest example in a long line of, and maybe it is the first indie developer, quote unquote, that is getting this lawsuit on its hands, but it's also a very big offender, I think. So,
it is. But what I'm saying is that I don't think that it would be bad to have some more regulation on false advertising in video games.
True. I remember, like, in the 1990s, when I still read, like, what was it? I think PC Gamer or something. And then you had the screenshot of a game, and they say, this is a screenshot of the game, but probably it's not really the game. So expect something less pretty. Like, okay, what?
Yeah.
So I think they say that in the magazine?
Yeah.
I think right. We're seasoned enough to, know the difference by now. When you see something that looks too good to be true, it probably is. Yeah, but the general public doesn't know about that.
But you can then also argue, does the general public see the difference between a pretty version and a... Well, I guess in No Man's Sky they do, but that's really a big offender again.
Yeah.
But I wonder how many of those people actually see the difference between the things that are advertised versus the things that they actually get to see in-game. Like,
yeah.
Even for us sometimes it's difficult, right? I say it like we're from Digital Foundry or something. But I think the general public, would they see the difference between FIFA 16 and 17?
I mean, still see like commercials on Facebook for those mobile games, and I saw one the other day that had it was like a trailer that was supposed to be gameplay that was so clearly not actual gameplay.
Yeah,
that it kind of hurt my eyes. It was, and I mean, those kinds of games apparently do well enough to be, big, have big advertising campaigns on Facebook and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for many people that it isn't that obvious, the difference between
like the difference
commercial and
between 720 and 1080.
I mean, usually it actually said in-game footage on that trailer, because usually you have something, you at least have mention of what, in-engine or something like that, right? Or real-time, or just some roundabout way of saying that, yes, we are using our own engine, but your game is probably not going to look like this.
But most of the people don't really notice that
small
sensor in the bottom right of the screen.
But I think that would be... It would be worth it, making that a little bit clearer.
I think that will actually be clearer in the near future, because now with the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro, I think they have to make a distinction between the footage they are showing and what is actually how it's going to look on your console of choice. Yeah,
but indeed.
Sorry for the small segue, but
but that's gonna be really hard to get across, right? With stuff like. Better graphical effects, or especially 4K. If you don't have a 4K television, you're just not gonna know the difference.
I think drawing distances, etc., can still be
sure
better with it, because I thought they said, going off on a side note here, that even if you have a 1080p screen, you still get added benefit from the PlayStation 4 Pro, higher frame rates and better graphical fidelity. So there's probably yes, it will look better, but who cares?
All right, well, wait and see, folks.
Yes. Well,
Game Honey.
To continue on from Sean Murray to another somewhat controversial developer. This time we have Oculus VR co-founder Palmey Lucker. He was in the news recently because he donated to a group a nonprofit group that had billboards against Hillary Clinton. So there was a billboard outside of Pittsburgh that they did that had Hillary Clinton's face with the words "too big to jail." And it got outed recently that he donated $10,000 to the group that put up that billboard.
Mm-hmm.
He himself has said that he is a libertarian and he will vote for Gary Johnson this election.
Which makes him insane.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree, but to each his own, we shall say. But it seems that his actions have negatively impacted the public perception of Oculus. So he has apologized for that. So what do you guys think about this? Because, again, in this case, it's one person at the top that kind of
But this sort of
casts a shadow over its entire product.
I think this news item got away from us for a couple of weeks because it's been going on for a while, right?
No, a week or two, right?
Yeah. But he seems like an asshole. Question mark?
I don't think anyone who has followed my Twitter feed will be surprised to say that I am on the left end of the progressive end of the political spectrum. So yeah, it always sucks to hear about influential people that make silly political choices.
Yeah,
what in my opinion are silly political choices.
Didn't he try to get the help of Reddit, of a subreddit in support of Donald Trump to spread meme magic?
Yeah, I heard something about that as well. The article that I have here doesn't mention that specifically. But it does mention that he would have allegedly written on Reddit under the pseudonym Nimble Richman, which had inflammatory.
I think he denied. I think he denied that was actually him, even though he has admitted it in the past.
He denied it, and then afterwards, somebody called him out on it. And
Dude,
he showed,
that's totally you.
Yeah, he had some screenshots of email conversation between him and Palmer Luckey, and if you see those screenshots, it becomes apparent that actually he indeed used that account to post those things.
Yeah.
Wah. Fun side note, when I wrote down this news item, I was talking to you guys at the same time, so his name became Palmey Lucker.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is much better.
That does sound pretty good. Could also be a porn name, but
it probably is a porn name.
Hey, big Lucker.
Palmey Lucker, the heavy trucker.
But yeah, the CEO of Oculus, Mr. Brendan Iribe. I'm butchering that name, but he has distanced the company from
Palmer
Luckey's political
views,
contributions, saying that everyone at the company is free to support what matters to them, and trying to remind everyone that Palmer was doing this as part of the company, but on his own.
I mean, I could totally see Oculus trying to get rid of him, or Facebook in this case.
Definitely. For me, it is what your political opinions are. That's separate of the company and the product you're making. But in this case, you're such a big figure right now in the industry that you're gonna get put under a microscope, and everything you'll do wrong will get bloated up. And it sucks for Oculus because they'll have this on their name, and I think that Palmer Luckey won't get the most of it. But because there were some developers who already said that they were distancing themselves for Oculus Rift, and I think that sucks because they're trying the best to put out a decent product, and now with this on their hands, that
sucks
sad,
for the people working there, no doubt.
Yeah,
so that's why would be a reason to fire Palmey Lucker and distance themselves from his statements even further.
Yeah, but on what grounds are you going to fire him? I'm not sure what is in his contract, etc.
In
right?
the United States, it's not, well, unless you're at the top and you're a millionaire, of course.
Which he
but
is.
In general, from my understanding, it's not all that difficult to let someone go.
Yeah.
So yeah, for negatively impacting the company,
Well done.
if that is quantifiable and if you can actually prove that,
well,
then-
they can.
yeah, I mean they can. Obviously, if companies are distancing themselves from Oculus, then I don't see why it would not be possible to get rid of this guy. And he would walk out with a couple of millions in the bank. So would it be all that bad?
No, I think I would agree with you on that as well.
Yeah.
It does harm the company, and the company is more than just him. It's also its employees, which you definitely have to think about.
Yep.
Yeah, and
So that's very unfortunate.
so why do we draw the line here?
For me, it doesn't really matter what he votes or whatever, but the fact that he has put his employees in some form of financial danger by, making these contributions.
Yeah.
But
it's a tough.
it's also because
There's no good answer to it, but
it's also just the whole Nimble America thing that they do some shady things, and I think that's the problem. I mean, if he just
Nimble America is the non-profit organization that Luckey donated to.
yeah, but they did.
And wasn't he actually in charge of it? To a
No,
certain
he.
extent?
I don't think so.
He denied that.
So, but anyway, I think if Palmer Luckey donated 10,000 directly to the orange guys his political campaign, there would be no problem. However, through Nimble America, that did some shitty things apparently. I think that is where they have to draw the line.
So what did Nimble America actually do?
Yeah, that I'm trying to look up.
I think it was mostly just inflammatory comments and memes. I think they were pushing some inflammatory memes about Hillary Clinton and positive memes about Trump is what I heard, but he says that he is libertarian, so I find it hard to imagine that. I am actually, since we don't have that much time, I kind of want to go to what you mentioned in the beginning. Fernando, one of our regular listeners, he sent us a tweet a while back asking us, it would be fun to hear you guys telling us what your best and worst gaming experience were till today.
Oh shit!
Not necessarily the best and worst games you played.
Ooh, do any of you guys have
exactly,
an idea off the top of your head?
Nope.
I think Panda does.
Do I?
Lego Star Wars.
I don't know. I'm playing Persona 5 now, actually, and I must say I'm not going to say that's the best thing ever, but it is one of those good experience in gaming when you find a new game and it's super good and you just get sucked in. That's kind of what
That is great. Yes.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, oh yeah, I'd heard about it, and some people were excited about it and whatever, but I guess I'll pick it up. And then it turns out to be super great, and you just... Yeah, I had that with The Witcher as well, Witcher 3.
I think that's a good answer, and it doesn't really happen to me all that often, but that is, I think, the best feeling you can have playing video games.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was that.
Well, that was your best, right?
No.
And your worst?
No
Man's Sky.
No, not even No Man's Sky. I don't know.
Have you ever been thoroughly disappointed? I mean, not just in your life.
I was just going to say that.
I'm not disappointed in my life, thank you very much. But
give it some time.
We are in yours, so.
With friends like these,
we are his biggest disappointments.
And he's stuck with us.
Oh no!
Why don't you love me, Dad?
Whoa.
No, I when I think about video game disappointments, there's at least two games that pop up in my head, and one was Bonkers for the Sega Mega Drive. It was based on a Disney cartoon.
Yeah, that sure sounded like it would be a big hit.
Yeah, it was based on a Disney cartoon that never really caught on, about a cat that is a police officer. And the games were just kind of like mini games.
Yeah.
And I finished it in one morning.
Oh.
And I was like, is this it?
This is it.
But here's one that I know is going to cause some controversy. Pokemon Snap. I was also very disappointed in.
Well, I can see that.
Really? Oh, I thought you really liked it.
Yeah, I did. And it's a good game. But if you are expecting a Pokemon game, that's not what you're getting. I think actually who got this? I think my little brother got this for Christmas, the year it came out. And he was crying beneath the Christmas tree. He got super angry. And my dad got angry as well. We got you your fucking game.
Yeah, I think I remember getting Pokemon Snap for like the holidays, and the next morning playing it and just finishing it in one go and being like, well,
that was a good 2 hours.
That was it, I guess. Yeah.
I had that with.
I guess it wasn't a bad game, but I just had different expectations of it.
I can imagine. I had that with the original Kirby on the Game Boy. It was like only 2 hours tops. Not even, probably 1 hour. You can finish it. And I got it for my birthday. I finished it and was like, wait, this is it? Okay, I'm gonna replay it again. Why not? Still like the game. Still have the game.
Okay.
I'm a big Kirby fan. It's best thing ever. No, that's not true.
Sorry, which Kirby was
Did
this?
you play any of the recent?
The original on the Game Boy.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see that. I think I borrowed the second one from a friend, and I finished it in like one afternoon and a half, and I thought to myself, I'm really glad that I did not buy this.
Like, it's a good experience, but
but those are like the definition of baby games. I mean, they are so easy.
Well, that's why I kind of also, because I've talked to you guys about, like Yoshi's Woolly World and Kirby Epic Yarn and stuff. And yeah, they look nice, but I just fear that I just go through them in one afternoon or even less, and it just seems like a lot of money for.
Yep. Yeah, that's what sort of
challenge.
Put me off of buying them for full price. I would definitely like to get into Woolly World because it looks adorable.
I'm more of the Kirby game.
Yeah, it looks good.
Kirby has a special
Epic Yarn,
yeah. But Kirby has this very special place in my heart.
Okay. Did you play any of the new one? Oh, sorry.
Okay, sorry. I have to get going, I'm afraid.
No.
Well.
Yeah. Sorry about that, but we'll do better next time, or at least I will.
You better.
Yes.
So
do better.
Have fun, and see you next week, I guess.
Bye-bye, I guess.
Yeah, where can people find you?
Oh, they can find me once again at KumaGumaPolar on Twitter. So I guess I saved you guys hearing me talk about MGS4 for another 30 minutes, so I guess you should be grateful. That's good. Yeah. All right, on that note, bye-bye.
Later.
See ya. So, yeah, Grizzly, did you play any of the recent ones or Kirby games?
Let me think real quick. The last one I played was on the Nintendo DS.
Which one was that?
Let me check real quick. I have to move something.
Oh, is that the one with the rockets? With the mech?
No, that's for the 3DS.
I'm talking
3DS. Yeah, I'm talking about the DS one. It's too dark to see. I'm not sure. But it was on the DS. And it was...
Are you in a cave?
No, I didn't put my lights on in my room because I feel sick and I don't want the light shining on me. Darkness. No, but I really like that one. I know you can finish it in like 4 hours or something, but it doesn't take away that the game is fun to play. And Kirby also always looks cute, and it's a decent platformer. Yes, it's easy, but it has fun mechanics in it.
So Kirby for the Game Boy is your best and worst?
Actually,
game experience.
Actually, no. This is that's just completely unrelated. My best experience, not per se best game. the one that blew my mind was actually Devil May Cry 3.
Yeah. You've talked about that a lot.
Yeah. The reason being that I got a PlayStation 2 relatively late in the console cycle, and I didn't know what games to play. First I bought a really shitty game, and then traded it in the next day, got a full refund, and I bought Devil May Cry 3 on a whim. But that game is...
What was the shitty game?
I think it was some kind of motorcycle game for my brother. And he was also like, this game is shit, you can return it if you want. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I got Devil May Cry 3, booted it up, and that shit is just crazy and over the top, and it's so much fun, and the combat is so satisfying, and it really looked pretty for back in the day. It had the lightning bloom effects and everything, and it run very, very stable, and it was a good mix between combat and exploration of the tower you're in, and that was, for me, it was like, okay, definitely this is the game for me. And then Devil May Cry 4 came, but that's a different story. So that's for my best.
What was your worst game?
Yeah.
Your worst experience?
I have to think really deep for that one, actually. No. I have it. Monster Hunter 3.
Didn't you put like 50 hours?
No, 18. Because I played it with a couple of friends of mine, and they really enjoyed it. And if you're in a group of 4 and everybody has their PSP and they're playing it, you kind of have to as well, or else you'll be forever alone. And my God, that game is... I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks great back in the day on the PSP. But it's just the whole grinding part. I don't understand why people, especially the Japanese, like this. You start off in a village. You can go to a certain level that is split up in like 9 different parts. And every time you go to a different part, you have to reload that environment. And there are monsters there, and sometimes there aren't. And what you have to do in every minute is either collect or murder one of the monsters to get loot, to get better equipment, to destroy or to beat higher leveled monsters, to get better loot, to get more equipment, and it's just a rinse and repeat.
A lot of games are like that.
Yeah, but this doesn't.
In essence,
it doesn't even mask the fact that is your sole game mechanic, and the controls are horrendous. It's you cannot control the camera really well, and just the whole combat system is really sluggish. And I kind of understand when you're chugging around these large weapons, but that is just not fun for me.
Wasn't the playing with friends part fun though?
No, because I disliked the game that much, and everybody was like, "Oh, let's do this," and I was always the guy that was running right somewhere at the back because I had the poorest equipment, because I wasn't like grinding this game for 300+ hours, and I was always the one that got beaten, and you only have like 3 lives or something per challenge, and if you die like 3 times, you have to get reset. So it was always a little bit like, oh, are we going to make this? Because if he dies, well, and it was just not fun. I mean, it's fun hanging out with friends, but it's not fun hanging out with friends playing a shitty game that only you do not like.
All right, fair enough.
So yeah, that's my worst experience.
So from Kirby and Devil May Cry to Monster Hunter.
Yep.
Are you? We talked about it during the TGS podcast. Me and Polar, but are you gonna play Monster Hunter Stories at all?
Nope. I have zero interest in that franchise as a whole.
Okay, so it's not just the gameplay; it's also the setting.
The gameplay is the setting. They kind of go hand in hand.
Monster Hunter Stories is like Pokemon in the Monster Hunter world.
Oh yeah, then still no. I mean, yeah, okay, the gameplay mechanics may be a little bit different, but...
it's turn-based, for one.
Yeah, but still, it's Monster Hunter. There isn't really a lot to the setting to say, like, oh yeah, I'm going in for the lore, people. No, it's just your generic setting. There's nothing...
Well, they have They have cats, right?
I don't like
feline.
cats. I'm allergic to them. When they're near me, I sneeze, and the world gets destroyed.
So,
My sole reason for not picking a Litten.
all in all, Monster Hunter 3, 10 out of 10.
If that 10 out of 10 means worst game ever made, then yes. Yes!
Well, I hope, Fernando, that answers your questions.
Let's hope so.
I certainly learned something about my co-host. So, finally, let's, before we head on out, let's just quickly talk about what we've been playing.
Yeah, let's do that. Do you want to start us off, or...?
Sure, why not? Like I mentioned, I've been playing Persona 5. I am new to the Persona franchise, or to the Shin Megami Tensei franchise in general. And I should say I played one of the spin-off games for a while. That's
Tokyo
the
Mirage,
Tokyo Mirage
right?
Sessions.
Like, combat is comparable to the two, right?
Yeah, it's turn-based and
exploit weakness
focusing
and
on weaknesses and I really like playing more traditional JRPG again.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first real RPG that I've played in a long time, I think. I guess Witcher 3 is an RPG, but
that's a Western RPG.
It's not a JRPG.
Yeah, there's a difference there.
Yeah. So I had actually bought Shin Megami Tensei 4 for the 3DS, but I didn't get around to playing it yet.
This seems familiar.
It's in my backlog. But yeah, I got Persona 5, and I am thoroughly enjoying it.
Nice.
It's one of those, like, late to the game, but really enjoying it nonetheless.
Actually, you're quite early. You're just late to the franchise, probably.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, I'm late to the franchise, to the Persona franchise.
That's the same for me, actually. So, I on a whim, I pre-ordered it.
Persona 5?
Yeah, the Super Deluxe Special Edition, because it's actually quite cheap for some reason.
Take Your Heart edition, I think.
Yeah. It's the same price as the standard edition in Japan. Don't ask me how and why, but it is.
So it's like $80?
Correct.
Yeah.
I can still cancel it, but it was like, will I, won't I? So just to be safe. But I also have Persona 4 for like a couple of years already on my PS Vita that I haven't gotten around it to play it. Like only the first 2 hours or something. And it is enjoyable, but I'm always like, okay, I can get into the game, but I only have like 30 minutes. Better play something else then.
Yeah, it's not a 30 minutes game.
No, definitely not. So, but it's good to hear that you're at least enjoying Persona 5, because that gives hope for me when it's February 14th in 2017.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it to the point where I'm like, maybe I should get the special edition when it releases in the West, because it comes with some cool stuff.
Yeah, it definitely does.
So yeah, I might actually do that. I'm really liking it so far.
Nice. Good to hear.
It's just the style and
everything,
over the topness, and the characters are a lot of fun.
Is the music?
So definitely,
the music is also good.
I love the music. My wife doesn't love it as much.
Well, it's like the psychedelic jazzy kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. It's just when she's sitting in the same room when I'm playing it, it just drives her nuts, because it's the same music on repeat.
Yeah. But
I already downloaded some tracks. Maybe not really.
We don't condone.
I totally did not download it.
You watch them on YouTube.
I watched them on YouTube in the car, and not while I was driving, but I put them on and on YouTube, and my wife looked at me with an angry.
You better turn that shit off right now, man.
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing? But yeah, don't download, kids. We don't condone downloading. I would never ever download.
Well, I will download if it's for free, or I mean, if on a legal basis.
All right, fair enough. Yes.
That's what I meant to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really loving it.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And other than that, I've just been playing a little bit of Enter the Gungeon, which is hard as balls.
I have no clue what this is. What is this?
So it's a Devolver game. It is a it's good. It's a good thing that Polar isn't here because it's kind of pixel art.
Oh yeah, he would yeah.
He hates that for some reason.
He would put the mic down and walk away.
Yeah, but essentially it's Dark Souls meets a isometric shooter.
Oh, this looks actually quite fun.
Yeah, I played it at TGS when we were talking with the developer, actually the guy who made it, and we were playing it as he was watching, which was kind of weird.
But whatever, yeah.
I played it a little bit, and at first I was like, "This is definitely not a game for me." I'm not really that much into Dark Souls, and it's it looks kind of not my thing. But I tried it, and it was really cool.
Yeah, it looks like,
and
when I look at it, because I'm scrolling on the website right now, it looked like a crossover between indeed an isometric shooter or a twin stick shooter, bullet hell, and Dark Souls combined. Indeed.
Yep.
Awesome.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, you can also do like a dodge mechanic, and the creator told me like he timed it to the Dark Souls roll.
Really?
So yeah, it was very conscious apparently in emulating the Dark Souls experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty hard so far. It's procedurally generated to a point, I think. It's not. Technical details are a little bit over my head, but it's somewhat, different every time you enter the Gungeon.
Okay.
And
so it's like
once you die, you get sent back all the way to the beginning.
So it's a little bit of a roguelike kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Looks awesome.
So yeah. Definitely give that a try if you think it looks interesting, because it's a lot more fun than I thought it would.
Does it have multiplayer?
It does have co-op, but it's one of those games that has co-op but is not designed for co-op.
Okay, that's sad.
Yeah, I actually played it a little bit with a friend, and you don't share items, for example.
Okay.
And that you get from fallen enemies or whatever, treasure chests.
Getting to the loot first, yeah.
And you can only choose one. There's only one co-op character. Mm-hmm. There's 4 characters that you can play as the player one. Mm-hmm. 4 different characters, and I think they all have slightly different stats. But there's only one co-op character.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just... the co-op kind of feels tacked on, but I think it really stands on its own as a one-player game.
Okay.
So
I'll maybe look into this.
You should.
I will.
Give it a try.
I will.
Yeah.
I shall.
So what have you been playing?
Not a lot. I was away for the most part of this week.
Where'd you go?
I went on a business trip to Switzerland, which is awesome.
Fancy.
The food is great there. Business is also good. But anyway.
Did you withdraw any money from shady banks?
Why would I now? I'm not sure. No, but so it was quite busy the last couple of days, and yesterday also. So I only got to play a little bit of Deus Ex Go, which is an iPad or an iOS Android application game type of thing.
It's the third one in the Go series.
Correct. Right? Started off with Hitman Go, then Lara Croft Go, and then now Deus Ex Go. And I played the previous 2. I completed them, and they're just awesome. I think these games are a perfect example of how to implement touch controls into your application game and still have a sense of your franchise or something like that. Like if you play Hitman Go, it's always like, okay, you're a hitman, you need to eliminate your target, go, watch out for guards, be sneaky, whatever. And Lara Croft is more like the same mechanics are still there, but instead of fighting guards and etc., you have to take into account that you have to flip switches to get stones rolling or to defeat your snakes and crocodiles and everything. to get to the end of the level. So kind of the same, but a little bit different. Art style is also completely different to Hitman Go. And then in comes Deus Ex Go. Again, you're still swiping to move from tile to tile like you do in the other games, and you still have enemies, but this time they're of course based on the Deus Ex universe. So they're a little bit more like a gun turret or a guard that can then get arbor-like skin, so you cannot shoot anything at him or whatever, and you have to hack into terminals to flip switches and everything. And again, a totally different art style, which really complements the game. And now it also has story, but I kind of forgot what the story was about. Probably some rebel group that you have to destroy. Whatever.
So would you call it a strategic board game?
I would call it a puzzle game.
Okay.
Within the... because Hitman Go was indeed, like, it was based on the premise that you were Hitman on a board game. So aesthetics-wise, it was also board gamey type of feel. Lara Croft deviated from that, and as in there was a normal puzzle adventure kind of game, and the whole board game element was only there as a basic gameplay element. So you swipe from tile to tile and you move, and certain enemies do moves, and it was all still kind of based on that feel, but no, it was no board game any longer. And Deus Ex kind of does the same thing, whereas it still has that you can swipe to move to another tile, and then enemies move as well. But the whole type of board game feel is not there anymore, so I would rather call it a puzzle adventure kind of thing rather than a board game.
Okay.
But it's good fun.
It sounds, yeah. I have looked at them a couple of times thinking about buying them, but...
Definitely do. They're
never got round to it.
They're like only $5, and they're on sale quite a lot, actually. So I would recommend them. Definitely.
So you would recommend them on a smart device or on Steam?
I've never played them on Steam, but this is very much tailored to a smart device, to touchscreen input. So I would recommend them on that basis alone on iOS or on Android.
Okay.
But let me just check real quick. I think that Deus Ex is right now only $2 on the store. If I can get rid of the... Damn it.
Riveting podcasting right here.
60% off for a limited time. So if you want to try, do it now. It's the same for... I don't think Lara Croft Go is actually cheap at the moment, but... here, the Go collection. You can get Lara Croft Go and Hitman Go for quite cheap. So do it. It's well worth your money.
Is that on iOS or on Android?
Both.
Okay. Maybe I'll hijack my wife's iPad.
Do it. Do it now. Are you doing it?
Not yet.
No.
Sorry.
So.
All right. Did you play anything else?
No,
or?
that's completely it.
That's it.
Yeah, it's. You know.
Okay.
When you gotta work. You gotta work.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Right. Are you feeling it?
I respect that.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. All right, and with that, I think we've come to the end of yet another show.
I think so.
The 27th show, I think it was this week.
Wasn't it 28?
We are. Is it? I completely don't know where I am, who I am,
what you're doing here,
what is happening around me,
things, stuffs.
But somewhere in the late 20s, just like us.
Ah, good one.
We yeah, on our way down.
Or up. Let's keep positive over here.
On our way up.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for listening to yet another episode of our sweet gaming podcast. And finally, Grizzly, where can people find you?
The people can find me at Grizzly_BE.
On Twitter?
On the Twitter, yes.
Yeah, on the Twitter. People can find me at Tayo Inc., also on Twitter. You can find us all as a collective at GameHoneyGame, also on Twitter. And you can send us an email at game.honeys with an S at gmail.com. So,
and you can
don't fret. Don't hesitate. Just send us some thoughts, questions, whatever. Yeah. And we'll
also,
get back to you on the show.
You can find us at on Stitcher and you can also find
Yes.
us on the YouTube. But that's only
Oh,
that's a
right.
work in progress, to be honest.
Yes, we are working on providing video with our videos, with our podcasts as well.
Yes, definitely.
So look forward to more of that in the future too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for listening again, and I will see you next week, Grizzly, and I will hopefully see all of you next week as well. So thank you for listening, and bye-bye.
Bye.